So welcome back everyone to another episode on our dual careers in NBA 2k21. I'd like to thank you all returning for another episode, and if you're starting here, I'd encourage you to go watch episode 1. Not that you missed anything super big story-wise, but just, I don't know, generally books are good at the start. But I'll go ahead and say I am post-recording this commentary. I was listening back while I was editing, and I wasn't quite happy with how the commentary was going and decided to re-record it. So things are going to be even less engaging with the game than they were before. But I will say, one of the other reasons why I am having to post-record this is I actually had some issues with this game. Didn't expect to, but I had the game crash 3 times on me. So I played the NBA side 3 times, and then we finally got through a game. But I don't know. I don't know what really to talk about, because I can go on with what's going on in the game. I actually am watching and not just staring at a wall recording this for 30-ish minutes. But what I've really been trying to do in the game is be more of a facilitator and less of a I'm going to run down the field and try to make a contested layup, because we're not quite good enough for that yet. We ain't no Russell Westbrook. But I will say the game does feel pretty good. I don't have much credibility on, oh, well, this game feels better with the dribbling in this year's version versus last year's, where it's more natively done and you can dribble this much closer, it's more precise. No, that's not the case. But I think I'm just a little more comfortable with this year's version. Then again, I also have the setting. For those of you who don't know, you can see on screen they have the little shot meter. And if you make it with perfect timing, you're almost guaranteed to get the ball in every time. And I'm terrible at it. Well, apparently there was a higher degree of difficulty on last year's version, and they made it an option for this year that I didn't know about, which is probably why I did not shoot well in last year's version at all. Where you could actually aim your shot as well. I gladly turned that off. But I am thinking about turning up the difficulty in the game, just because we played pretty well for both of the games here today, and I want it to be something we build upon, not just we easily do it. But so I'm just curious to see if anyone out there wants to comment. Like, what are your interactions with I'll say sports games, that way it's not just like straight up basketball. But I was talking about in the last episode about how I played in middle school, and I still hold my family record of 6 points over the course of a season. I'm still proud of that, and probably won't mention it at least 10 more times in this series. I thought about playing in high school, but I didn't like the people who were going out for basketball in high school, and then on top of that, it was taken away from my 2 other sports that I actually played. Because I was a little weird in high school, and I mean everyone's weird in high school, and if you say you weren't weird in high school, or if you're currently in high school and you say you're not weird, you're just lying to yourself, and you'll figure it out in probably a good 5 years on, no, I was weird, because everyone's weird. Spoiler alert. But I've found I'm enjoying both modes in this game. Pulling whiplash right back into gameplay. I'll tell you right now, we're going to go back and forth on actually talking about the game and not, because I got 34 minutes to fill. And I can't just be like, oh, we made that shot. Oh, we missed that shot. Oh, we got the rebound, but she was stepping out of bounds, and she should have just let it go. But details. I find that happens a lot, where the computer's just like, okay, I'll get this rebound. I'm stepping 3 feet out of bounds, but getting the ball's good, right? No. I already forgot what I was talking about in the game. This is why I don't like to post record. I like to do it in the moment. And I guess I'll go ahead and talk about this while I'm trying to get a little bit of audience feedback, if anyone is daring to want to do so. Would you prefer this go to more highlight mode, like how my NCAA series is with the football? Or would you prefer it to be more like this is now, where I'm playing kind of more full games? Because the episode lengths are a little longer than I expected them to be. And I probably shouldn't be talking about this much of logistical stuff so openly like this, but it's hard for me to get a feeling on what everyone wants to see, because I consume a lot of online video, and I don't mind if videos are 8-9 hours long, because I'm totally willing to say, okay, I'll hit pause, I'm done for the day, or I'm doing something I need to focus on that, and I'll come back. But I know some people like to just say, okay, I've got 20 minutes to kill, let's sit down, crank through this video, and then we'll go back on to whatever you were doing. Jeez, we were playing terrible, terrible defense. But yeah, if you have any feedback for me on that, I'd love to hear it. Got that assist on that fast break. There's going to be a lot of that. That's really my style of play. I don't know why my character was celebrating, because maybe just the big lead, because we weren't doing anything overly exciting. But I will bring this up, and I know of at least one person that will groan when I ask this, but I think it's funny, so I'll bring this up. So, provoking thought of the day. You've got a pizza, right? Pizza is a pizza. It's usually circular, doesn't have to be, and it's like dough, tomato sauce, cheese, and various ingredients, and you can swap out things like tomato sauce for Alfredo sauce. Don't necessarily have to have cheese on it if you're lactose intolerant, yada yada yada. But it's the basic premise of a pizza. So, thought of the day. Is tomato soup and grilled cheese a pizza? I'll let you think on that one. I won't really do a big defense on it, but just my whole argument is it's got the ingredients, but then this is just like questions of like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Just things to think about. I don't know, when you're taking your next shower, just start thinking about this stuff, and if you're like me, you get lost in your own thoughts, and then you slowly work your way into points where it's just like, okay, I'm exhausted because I think about things too literally and logically. Basketball! Really shouldn't have gone for that driving layup. I play a little too aggressive, and I'm going to try to play a little bit more as a distributor. But I'm just trying to apply real world logic to the game, and that usually doesn't go too well. But just trying to be, well, if I make a big impact with scoring a decent amount of points and doing a couple of boards and assists every game, then the game will be like, hey, you're important, and give me more minutes. That was a terrible, terrible pass. We don't get burned on it because of the end of the half, but that was a poor IQ pass. So many videos on YouTube about Among Us and such, like the 1,000 IQ plays, the 9,000 IQ plays, the 10,000 super IQ plays. And then you got me in basketball, where it's just like, there's two defenders between me and my teammate. Throw it into their chest. See, I hate watching myself play back, because I will critique myself to the ends of the earth. So there I'm just like, I hate doing it. Should have gone for the alley-oop. But we start. Speaking of very, very bad turnovers, I think in that one I actually get angry because I was not trying to go there. I was trying to go to our roll person just so I could get a bailout and get a dribble back. But we're also up by a lot, so we weren't too punished by that turnover. And oh, they just gave me a free lane to the basket. Take that any day of the week. Easy, easy points. But I will say I'm playing a very similar playstyle in both the NBA and the WNBA, and I kind of regret picking that because I think it would have been more fun to do completely different playstyles. But I also, the way I was thinking about it was, it's going to be hard for me in my head to distinguish after a bit of time, where I'm just like, okay, I'll sit down and these take me about 40 minutes to record and they edit down to about 30, 35. So I can sit down 40 minutes, knock out 2 games, and I'm good. Jeez, I need to play better defense. Hopefully I can get a little better at that. But I am amazed on how much you can feel the little bits of difference between the WNBA and the NBA games. And it's not really mechanics or difficulty or anything. It's really just a style. And so you can see a lot of the pick and roll and a lot of the driving, I personally believe, is a little more successful here in the WNBA side than the NBA side. Because the NBA side, it seems like you have to be a little better shooter. But I haven't built, geez, that was terrible defense. Oh, but I also have a very small sample size on how many games I've played to actually figure out what works and what doesn't. And I love that shot right there. You'll see me attempt that shot too many times, where I will just, they give me room off the pick and roll, and so instead I will just go and hit them from baseline. I'm surprised I didn't try to shoot it there, and I actually do the good play and give it to someone who can actually shoot. I think we might actually be on with some of the starters, and I think that was because we were playing so well. Because we're having a pretty good third quarter. So that's really encouraging, and part of the reason why I'm thinking about upping the difficulty. I don't want to go straight to the hardest difficulty. We are playing on a fairly easy one. But it's one of those, I probably should play on a little higher difficulty, but this is the first time I'm playing with, air quotes, realistic sliders, and just to cover my bases, and I totally dumped the ball off there to help my shooting percentage because I knew I wasn't going to make that half-court shot. But I had a point. I was talking about it. It's gone. Oh. I think we get a little bit more time here to finish out the game because we're blowing them out. So we got a little more time to establish ourselves. But I will say it's really encouraging for me to just like, okay, we're starting to get immersed in the WNBA. We get to learn a lot more about it. And I can tell you for a fact, I've only recently started watching the NCAA, the NBA. I didn't watch much this year, but I've watched a lot in years past. And I used to have no interest, and I built an interest because of me playing in 2K and playing MyCareer, and I started to research teams, and I started to know players. I laughed that I ended up on the Utah Jazz on the NBA side because that was the team that that was a bad shot. We were low in the shot clock. The Utah Jazz was the first team I played on a MyPlayer with that I actually played on the team. I make that distinction. That was a bad call for a pass, too. I'm getting just too aggressive right now. I need to get better about easing up. But that I should have... We're not in a good groove right now on the game. Trying to force too many things with our extra playing time and kind of chilling off. But oh no, okay, maybe it's later. But I think the first ever MyPlayer I played was 2k10, and that actually had the D League, and I wasn't good enough to get out of the D League. I didn't get a good grasp on the game. But then I actually got to like 2k13 was the next version I bought, and I played MyPlayer again. And they took out the D League, so you actually could play on a team, and I ended up being the starting point guard for the Utah Jazz. And that was actually the second furthest I've ever gotten into MyCareer mode, which is funny to me because I actually got all the way through my rookie season. I think I was like 20th on leading scorer, and I was so proud of myself. And it was like I'm playing so well. I ended up winning the finals in 7, and then I stopped playing the game. But I found that, and I can talk a little bit more about why I'm doing things the way I am instead of with this kind of air quotes MyPlayer mode versus actually playing MyPlayer. Seasons are so long. 82 games is a ridiculous amount of games. And to be... I'm not a guy who plays a ton of online games anymore. I used to. But in sports games, I never really did the park mode. I've never had a couple of buddies and we built a 5-on-5 team or something like that and went and competed. No. I've always been solo. Not many of my friends like sports games with me. And so it's one of those, it's hard for me to just get that kind of experience. And MyPlayer has slowly moved more and more towards that online experience and that community. And so for me, this gives me more of an opportunity to actually finish a career. The furthest I ever got, I believe, was in 2k15. I played for a while. I ended up getting through 3 seasons. And I think, I don't know what happened, but I've lost that save. I've tried to find it. Every year I get a copy, I'm like, this is the year that I will get through to actually retire and go to the Hall of Fame. It's always been a goal. Can never get to it. So we got 10 seconds left in our WNBA game. This game has been decided for a long time. We had a pretty good game, scoring 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So we were involved in all facets of the game, and we really helped power the team to a further out lead and end up taking the victory. So now we get to go up 2-0 in our 22 game season. So we're off to a hot start, and maybe we can keep that run going and maybe make the playoffs. But let's transition over to our NBA game. We are the Utah Jazz, and we are taking on the Miami Heat, who are coming off a finals appearance against the Lakers. At least I'm pretty sure it was. They made it to the finals. Honestly, if I had to pick a team that I wanted to actually have been drafted to, air quotes, it would have been Miami. But as soon as I did that, I'm like, oh wait, I'm not just going to throw myself on a finals team. That's a little too easy. And we're in the West too, so it's even harder to get out. So there's going to be a lot of struggling when we get to that later part of the season, try to go for a playoff run and see what happens. I did set the league up for the playoffs to do something a little different than normal. Just because I think it reduces some games so we can get more seasons in. It goes 1-3-5-7. So your first round's 1 game. It's sudden death. And then your semis are best of 3. Your conference finals are best of 5. And then your... Oh, I'm surprised Clarkson actually pushed for that. Got us our first assist of the game, and we can actually get involved. But But your conference finals are 5 games each, and then the finals are 7 games, because I couldn't mess with that. 7 games is a very magical number. But, ooh, almost got pulled out of bounds there. Getting a little too excited and trying to push the ball down the court. But I think we're doing a little better job here, at least so far, on being a facilitator. Still hitting that favorite shot of mine. Just right on that baseline corner. I take that shot to death. It helps set up a bunch of things, and it's one of those, I feel like it's a fairly high percentage shot, at least for me. But would other people say it's an ill-advised shot? Yes, they would. I also try not to shoot as many threes as other people. But I probably shouldn't have taken that shot there. But we were up 7, so I felt pretty good about that. I thought I could get around Dragic. I'm always not quite sure how to pronounce his name. But I thought I could get around him. Oh, and Iggy couldn't get the layup down low. Wanted to take the 3 there, but the animation pulled me forward. I try not to just rely on the 3 ball, but I do usually try to take more 3s than the 3s I've been taking the last 2 games. First dunk of the career! Take that, and hopefully there's many more and maybe some posters later on. But I'll take first dunk any day of the week. I do find it funny. I'm waiting for certain moments because obviously I know what's coming up. But with me having played this game 3 times, because this is the one that kept crashing, I'm trying to remember where we were, or if these things are coming up, or was it in a different recording? But I don't know. Well, you're along for the ride as am I. So we need to be. Oh, we got lucky there with the ball batting back to us. It's like playing football where the quarterback throws it and gets it batted back right to him, and then it's like, well, now what? Now what do I do with it? The intense moments of regret. And I tried to help inside and left him wide open, and lucky he didn't punish us. I'm trying to move the ball fast, and it sets it up for Favors to run the floor. We'll always reward our big guys for running the floor with us. Getting that all the way to a 9-point lead in the first quarter. So both games we jumped out to early leads, and we'll have to see if we can hold on to this one like we held on in the WNBA. And I was not in good defense position there. I think I'm just used to how much defensive assist is in other games. Part of the sliders was turning all of that off, and so it's just kind of jarring to be. I guess I'm expecting the game to pull me in some ways, and it just doesn't. But I don't know. Things happen. I think we won our first game, and some of you might correct me. So I think we're trying to go undefeated with both teams. There we go. That was good defense. I think that was best defense of the episode, and we pass it, or we continue it with the fast break score. So good defense leads to good offense. You just won't see a lot of good defense here. I'm kidding. I'm trying to get better, but it's a process. And I don't know why I'm trying to call for the ball with O'Neal running the court like that. He was wide open. Trying not to be too much of a ball hog, but it happens. It's kind of like NCAA where I will hit a button and then be like, no, it's just an instinct to hit that button, and that was totally the wrong pass. and how many picks I've thrown because of it. I think I was actually really mad there that I didn't get that steal, because I thought I jumped the passing lane pretty well. And I probably shouldn't be bouncing like that trying to get the rebound in case I actually hit the ball and it becomes a goaltend, but I don't think I'm tall enough to worry about that. Oh yeah, I shouldn't take that. Oh, Favors, why didn't you turn and shoot the ball? And we couldn't really get in the inside to help get that rebound, but Favors got it. Is begging him to pull it out. And from downtown! First 3 of the episode, and hopefully there's more. I think on that play I was just trying to get Favors to pull the ball out, and I didn't expect to be wide open. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have taken the shot. It was one of those like, I'm not a bad three-point shooter. Let's try it. But the bigs tend to try to keep going back up with the ball, and when you have 2 or 3 guys around them, it's like, dude, just dish it out. We'll reset. We don't have good numbers in here. It just doesn't work. Oh, and that easy pick and roll in, and I can't convert. But Bogdanovich bails me out. We got to make better contested layups, especially with the style I play. But it'll be. They failed on that alley-oop pretty badly. That wasn't even close. I love that they're advertising the 3-point contest, and I know the season is much shorter, like a quarter of the length, but it's the second game of the season. We denied that ball screen, and it actually ended up working out. Generated a lot of space, and we got the easy layup. The lead's 14, and we're playing pretty well. I was shooting 5 for 8 from the field at this point. So for me, I talk about the percentages I really like to see in NCAA, and this, my only percentage I care about, and I should care about a couple more, is my shooting percentage being above 50%. That's what matters to me. That was a risky play there, doing the jump thin pass, but I didn't directly turn it over, so. And I was so proud of myself on that play. It's like I got in front of him, I turned him, I kept him in front of me, and then I just overshoot him by a mile. It's like, oh, whoops. I was getting a little too confident in my defense. Try to cut there to get away from all of our bodies, because we're all really congesting on one side, and that's great if you're trying to run isolation and the ball carriers or the ball handler is the one away from everyone else. I don't know why I went for that. That running fade back, humongously long 3 is not my game. Those are the kinds of 3s that I yell at my TV screen whenever players I like take them, and yet I'm guilty of the same thing. But that was a good pick and roll. We ended up dumping it off, and we get the and one, so that turned out pretty well. But oh, and he made the and one, so it was even better. It is weird getting back used to the shorter times, because I'll take that. One of the things you had to get used to playing MyPlayer was playing full-length games. It's the only way you could get stats that looked right and gives you the most opportunity to grind for badges and such. Yeah. But now I can actually play shorter length games, which means I can get more games in a play session. I still can't believe 2K hasn't given the option to say, hey, yeah, you can shorten your season. I get not simulating stats, but give me the option to not play 82 games. And I know what some of you may be saying, well, you could just simulate games and only play like one of every 3. But that kind of defeats the point, because I outplay my overall, so my stats aren't right. And I don't care about stats as much as what I care about is that I'm trying to win MVP. I'm trying to win Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm trying to be an all-star. If 1 out of every 3 games is a 25-point game, and the 2 games in between are like 5 or 10-point games, it's going to be really hard for me to get that far. Because I'm playing for the stories I make up in my head. I'm playing for me playing offline as an individual, and not I'm just trying to get my player to 99 as fast as possible so I can go play in the park and dominate. And I totally wanted to pass the ball to the inside. We broke up that daisy chain there and fed the ball to Gobert down on the inside. We're already up to 5 assists. So we're having a pretty good night here too. Hopefully both of our coaches, our WNBA 1 and our NBA 1, are seeing what we're capable of and kicking that forward to say, hey, we're going to give you more minutes. We gave the help defense, but it didn't help out, or it didn't stop. And I wouldn't be surprised now if we only have a couple more minutes when it comes to being out on the floor. While we're playing well, it's not superstar level, but we are getting to see some interesting personnel groupings. Oh, what a move! The blow by, and getting the easy layup. But we get to see some interesting personnel groupings. So, like, we're on the floor with Mike Conley, who is the starting point guard, and we're running shooting guard. So we actually get to spell arguably the best player on our team, which is Donovan Mitchell. And I think at this point I'm actually guarding Jimmy Butler. And the whole time I'm just like, why am I guarding Jimmy Butler? He is a class above mine. I don't deserve this. And kind of expected to get postered at some point. Conley made a good play for himself. But if you couldn't tell by this 33-ish minute ramble, I'm very self-deprecating. And I don't believe in myself. So there's a lot of that going on. There's a loose ball foul there. And I think that pulls us. And yes, it does. And that's the end of the game. So we get a nice victory to cap off our 2-game stint for this episode. Double victories. Always good episodes when that happens. But I think I just go through the kind of final stats and we wrap up the episode. So I'll go ahead and start trailing it off here because we're within about a minute. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it helps me out so much more than you know. If you're enjoying this content, please let me know. If I need to make little changes to kind of loosen things up, I'm all ears. But I hope to see you guys in the next one. And yeah, stay tuned for more basketball and football content.